Welcome back to Etheria Restart. If you guys saw my video yesterday, I went in depth looking at the patch notes, talking about the Blessings Galore event that's coming this weekend. This is an event that's going to give you 2 times the rewards and something that you really should be taking advantage of as a player, especially if you're a free player and trying to get as many resources as you can out of the game. Today I'm here with Hermes, and he's going to be giving us a complete guide on how I should and how you should be structuring your weekend throughout the Blessings Galore event so that you can get the most rewards from this. Before we go into that and say what's up to Hermes, I want to remind all of you that if you download Etheria Restart with my QR code or my link in the description, you get yourself 10 free summons. And I want to thank Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video. Hermes, I want your guidance, man. I want to know how I can get the most out of this event, and I want everyone that's watching to have that same advice.
Hey man, I am sure it is intentional with the way that they set these up, but it seems like it's always, the good events always happen on weekends, right? Trying to keep you in the game, even when you're not at work, able to grind a little extra. So yeah, it's really going to be about managing your time well when it comes to this event, because it is one of, I would say, if not like the best event right now. We'll see how this new prototype summoning event goes. But other than that, I feel like this is definitely like a clear top event in the game, and really something that players should be focusing on and making sure that they're grinding efficiently to get the best possible rewards.
Yeah, I mean, in this genre itself, when you have events that are basically 2 times events, getting twice as much reward for the same amount of stamina or energy that you're using or time you're investing, it's good time to play. And I think you nailed it. I think they're really trying to get people to continue playing in the weekends. They probably have less players online during the weekends, so this is a great time to do these kinds of events. Really a smart one over there by Etheria Restart. But we talked about Grim Pursuit, Threshold, Investigation, GP Outpost. Some of these are things that we should be focusing on heavily. Others we should be ignoring completely. Take us through it, Hermes. I want to hear exactly what you suggest.
Yeah, so obviously the first big thing is that Blessings Galore does not apply to Grim Pursuit. So you should not even be touching that at all this entire weekend. No shell farming this weekend because you will not get double drops. Like, that's just, the clear and simple advice. I think obviously, the most important place and area usually to farm during these Blessings Galore events for a majority of players is going to be that threshold, getting yourself better modules. Because you think about it, you get either 1 or 2 module drops per farm, and let's say then you get that double on top. There's a possibility that from 10 stamina you could be getting yourself a total of 4 different new modules that could really be helping out your animus. So I'd say you honestly, whichever day of the weekend you are around and more active in or able to play in, I would say spend that day on farming modules. Get yourself as many as you can throughout that day. Spend as much of your stamina as you can, whether that's on the first day on Saturday or second day on Sunday, whichever day you can. Really focus on module farming. And then of course, that really breaks down to 1, where you are in the game, and 2, what kind of modules you're really looking for. I think obviously for you, you're really going to want to continue to farm Doki Doki. You need to get faster. You need to get more time weave gear coming through in your account, as well as get maybe some of that Swift Smite, and get a lot of those gear combinations really solid. But I know that as you get more into the arena side of things, a lot more people are going to start focusing more on Aurora, getting some of the Bloodbath and other sets like that from that dungeon. So those are, I think, really the important places to be farming, either again day 1 if you can, but really just the day you're going to be able to spend most of your time in the game, spend that farming in Aurora or in Doki Doki, whichever one of those 2 you really want to. Just get some module farming going.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate you breaking it down. Also, remember, we could do this all completely on auto. I mean, I'm currently running these on auto. If you could figure out that it takes you 10 minutes to get through 10 different attacks, or however many you can queue up at once, figure out how long it takes, and then run a battle, turn off your phone. If it takes 10 minutes, every 10 minutes, turn on your phone, just hit the redo button and get it going again. Because you don't have to actually actively be playing the game to take advantage of this event. So it's just, again, that's still one of my favorite quality of life elements of this game. I love that it's here, and I love that it runs when the phone is, or your device, whatever it is actually off. All right, so Grim Pursuit we're completely skipping. Threshold, we're farming the area to get our gear that we think is gonna most impact our accounts. What about Investigation and GP Outpost?
So those are both really, really important. Obviously, you're using them to get the XP to farm up for your different animus as you're leveling them up, and then GP outposts to help your skill ups. What I think is really interesting with both of these is that this really becomes where you have to look at it as your own account and see what you need to really progress your account further. Something really important that isn't really shown here on the investigation, but is important to look at as well, is that there you can get animus prototypes.
Hmm.
They're just like the basic ones from farming here. So if you get a prototype, you're actually going to get double during this event. Now, it's not going to make a big difference, but let's say you're looking at this other event that's going to be coming, if you're not alongside it, maybe later on this week, that is going to help you to get a bunch of summons. You can really use that to your advantage and try to help you get a couple extra summons, really push you over into the next reward bracket, whether that's that quantum prototype or that quantum selector, whatever it may be. And those are all going to be very important things to see if you can get. GP outposts, again, like there's 5 of them, right? So you have to kind of decide which ones you want to farm to get, and which you really need the most of. So if you know that you're trying to build up a couple different odd characters or animus, in that case, what you would do is then you just come in here, farm a bunch of the odd GP outposts up, try to get as much of that as you can. And then, if you have time, go back to investigation or switch to another one. But that's really where it's going to be, is you got to figure out for these two is figuring out what you need the most of, and then focusing on that second day or on your day that you're not spending as much time in the game.
Okay, so just to summarize, Grim Pursuit we're ignoring, Threshold we're focusing on to get as much gear as we can, and then if we're able to log in on another day, we're going to spend a little bit of time either in investigation or GP outpost, depending on if we need materials or if we need experience. What happens if a player only has a couple of hours, one day to play? Do you recommend that they spend all of their time in Threshold, or that they spend 3/4 of their time in Threshold and the rest in investigation and GP outpost? For someone that maybe is super busy, has sports, or just can't participate most of the weekend.
Honestly, I would say that you should split it up a little bit. I would say, you want to try to make sure that you have enough Animus XP to farm up, at least to get like one Animus, at least a 5-star, if not up to 6-star. So that is something very important to do. You want to make sure, obviously, that you're able to do that. But you really do want to focus on getting more modules, as that's really going to be the most beneficial area of the game to really improve your account during this Blessings Galore event.
Beautiful information. I don't know if you just saw, but we just hit
I
level
did.
100 on the account, man. Level
And you've been
100
grinding.
is here. That's awesome, man. Since June 5th, join time. June 5th we started, and now it's literally just under 2 months later, hitting level 100 on the account. That's pretty awesome. Let me know, guys, in the comment section below, what level are you inside of Etheria Restart, and when did you start playing? Last thing I want to discuss before we go, Hermes, is stamina. You had a recommendation for stamina and how to manage this. Can you share that with the community so that they can make sure that they get the most out of their stamina purchases?
Yeah, of course. So obviously the biggest thing you see is you kind of got like a little bit of a stockpile of those stabilizers. And that's something really important, is that now that we know that these Blessings Galore events are going to happen pretty regularly, I would recommend you would save and hold on to your stabilizers until this weekend, like the Blessings Galore weekends, to really dump those. But the big tip obviously was when it comes to gems, you can use, or your hydro crystals, you use those, you can purchase your stamina. So if you know you're going to be around for a lot of time, and you really want to make sure you're getting maximum farming, what you do is the day before, basically the last thing you do before you log off for the day, is you want to make sure you spend all of your hydro crystals to buy all 10 refills right at the end of the day. So you don't basically farm at all during the day before, other than your daily energy that you're getting. You're not spending any hydro crystals to get extra energy. You're waiting until the very, very end of the day, and you're buying them like either right before you go to bed or right before reset happens, whichever one of those applies to you. You're going to buy all 10, then you're going to have an extra 1,000 stamina to use during that event that you wouldn't have had previously or already, just based on how you're basically saving it up for the game.
That's a super min-max way to get 1,000 basically extra stamina. Love the advice. I love the breakdown as well. I now know what my path forward is going to look like this weekend. I appreciate you coming through and sharing your opinions, your advice, so that we can all get the most out of our accounts during these events. I'm excited about it. We need to take advantage of these when they do come around. And if you guys watch the video and you've been on the fence about playing Etheria Restart, here's a QR code for you, and there's a link in the description. Join us inside of the game today. And again, thanks to Etheria Restart for sponsoring today's video.